Hey guys, this is the third series I'm gonna do that is coming out of the fall of summer 2017. This is gonna be the first sequel of a series, and it's gonna be about March Comes In Like a Lion. I thoroughly love this series, and I'm talking it with my friend again, Duncan here. Say hello.
How's it going, everybody? Fantastic series. Cannot wait to discuss it.
Yeah. So as of the recording right now, we are at episode 4 of season 2.
Yep.
That episode has been really emotional. Again, if you don't know about the series, there's going to be a ton of spoilers. We're just going to be talking about our thoughts. And we're going to talk about what's happened in the episodes and just go more in depth about it.
But we are
going to talk about the first season as well, because I have nothing about the first season on my channel. So with the first season, it was, the main thing is it was Ray getting out of his depression, or his mad depression.
Yeah.
And it was really, really well done. Studio Shaft did an amazing job on the series with in just the first few seconds of episode 1 of season 1. You see this amazing, animation of darkness and Ray being in his darkness. And
Studio Shaft just has a very good record of visual storytelling, which I think is very important in a medium like anime, because lots of times you have to consider why are we watching this story out of an anime, and why not something else? Like, why aren't we just reading it? And Studio Shaft captures the brilliance of that, because these are just the kind of experiences you can't get with something else.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the first episode, right? Like the first couple shots.
First shots were amazing.
Yeah.
Because you see this animation and you see Ray all by himself in this really monotone type of colors, and you kind of wonder what is this kid, and what's his purpose, why is he all alone, all this type of stuff. It questions everything, and then it goes to the opening, and the opening's fucking awesome. I love both of them.
Yeah.
What else? I do wish I knew more about Shogi, because I feel like I would like the series even more. But still, you don't even need to know anything about Shogi, and you would still.
I know absolutely nothing about Shogi. If you have a working knowledge of chess, you're gonna do better. If you know the rules of chess, you'll have an idea of the rules of Shogi, because that's basically what Shogi is. It's Japanese chess.
Japanese chess.
So there's
a lot more pieces.
There's more pieces, and there's other rules but it's very similar to chess. Yeah. So that's really all you need to know to get into the series. But again, I don't particularly even watch the series for the Shogi. It's a lot of it's about the story of Ray and Ray's journey,
and his slice of life feels with the Akiri family.
I just wanted to bring up something just really quick, because we were talking about the first moments from the first episode of last season.
Yeah.
So the first thing I just want to say is I remember very distinctly from the first scene, it's basically Ray getting up in the morning, and there's very little dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's him going through his morning routine. You start out with him just getting up and then opening the window, and already there, Studio Shaft has something that looked really cool. When he opens the window, there's a blurring effect on the camera, which I thought already that's a nice little attention to detail, because you're essentially putting the audience in Ray's shoes. You just get up out of bed in the morning, and now any source of light is gonna make you cringe. Like when you open the curtains. So when he opens that window and there's a blurring effect, I felt like that was a really nice attention to detail, because you're putting the audience, at least subconsciously, in Ray's shoes.
Yeah.
And again, there's very little dialogue, so it's another great case of showing rather than telling, which is something that I think is very impressive in just anime in general. Because why do we watch anime? We watch it for the experiences we can only get from anime, because it's very different just watching the series rather than just reading it. And I think this is one of those series that really does improve on from the source material. You can't get that from just reading something.
It's because you get so in depth, you really feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Because of all the sound effects and all that, camera work, it's it just feels like, oh, I'm just there.
And Studio Shaft they make stuff that just looks really good too.
Yeah.
And just in general, but it's very, very impressive. And the other thing I just wanted to point out really quick about the opening scene from the first season is, in regards to the second season, I noticed those two scenes were actually very similar, because I'm pretty sure the opening scene for the second season also started with Rey kind of getting up, but there was an inherent difference. Because one thing that's very crucial about these two seasons is, even though it still follows Rey's journey, it feels like there's different goals.
There's difference between, one is him getting out of depression, and he got out of it, most of it.
To an extent,
To an extent, he got out most of it.
Depression is something
in season 2, it's more like him trying to find the true happiness for himself, which is expressed in the opening because of him chasing after that butterfly.
Yeah, the opening of season 2.
And also, season 2's opening, in my opinion, is my favorite opening. Because it is so beautiful, it's so colorful, the song is amazing, I just love season 2 opening.
I like all of the openings, but season 2 does a good job of showing that goal of Rey, because the first opening to season 1 does a great job of capturing the goal for the first season, where it's all a very dark color palette. Everything's very rough, and you just see Rey fighting his way to keep going on, and that's perfect for conveying the feel of the first season. Depression is just something that never really leaves you, but by the end of season 1, Rey's really gone out of that horrible rut that he was in at the beginning. He's improved a lot as a person. He's found much more value in his life than he has before. And now, by the second season, I like that it's not just, as much as I would like more of the same, it's not just more of the same. We're basically have a new story now, and Rey's got new goals, and we got a different tone to this. Rey is much less, it's much less about exploring Rey's depression and having this overall sad tone, and more just about Rey playing a more active role this season. He's trying to find happiness, and I really, really like that, because if they just went on and on about the same
depression,
I feel like if they just hammer on depression over and over again, that's just going to get old. As much as sad as that can be, they don't show the characters being sad for the sake of being sad. No, there's
reasons to it.
There's deep reasons to that, and these characters, they don't want to be sad.
Obviously.
That's what I really like about it. All the characters in the show are just really well fleshed out.
And the thing that is constant throughout the whole series, though, is there's the thing with much comes in like a line where it's it could be really happy at one moment, but then in the second half it's really depressing and sad, and it could be vice versa. And it's that still holds up within the series, because in the third episode, it was really happy. Rey got embarrassed about all this thing.
First season or second season?
The second season.
Okay.
But the third episode, it was Rey, and being happy, and he was embarrassed. But then we get to that depression where he, gets a reminder of his past when he was a kid because of that bush, and he goes back to the thing. It was also a kind of a recap for everybody. But it was it kind of shows he did the best. He tried the best he could, to be a normal kid, but it still didn't help.
Yeah, that's those feelings are going to be with him forever, and I can really relate to that too. No matter, lots of people have experienced bullying throughout, and I know myself. I had trouble with bullying when I was a little kid. It's never easy, and honestly, that's something that's going to stay with you throughout your entire life. But those experiences, they shape you into the person that you are, and they kind of, you really learn a lot through going through these hard times, and it feels like it's just kind of shaped you into the person that you are.
There's a thing, with his, I guess, kind of sister and brother, when he was adopted. They're assholes.
Are you talking about his adopted sister?
Yeah. They're assholes.
Well, yeah, they are. But
his dad's cool. He cares about Rey, actually.
But his dad is also flawed, because you talking about his dad or his adopted dad?
His adopted dad.
His adopted dad.
He cared about Shogi more.
He reminds me honestly of what you would call a stereotypical
Asian dad.
Because
no, not even, because I have an Asian dad and he's stereotypical.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they place these skills on a huge pedestal and just judge the value of their children.
I can understand that.
Based on that. That's very much even though that is a stereotype, that's also just very much a cultural thing.
Yes.
That happens a lot, and that's just that's the flaw with his adopted dad. As a result, his actions, even though his stepsister, even though I'm sorry, his adopted sister, even though she is an asshole, she's not. You kind of
get why she's an asshole.
Yeah, she's not just an asshole for the sake of being one.
There is a reason to it, but is it a good reason?
She was shaped by the actions of their dad, in effect, that is also because of Rey. So you can see why she does. You can understand why it's not.
I can understand that, but the fact that she kept that grudge, for her entire life.
That's her character flaw.
Yeah.
It doesn't justify what she does, but it makes you understand that, and that's what I really like.
And then with her and the relationship with the old shogi, I can't remember his name. The old shogi guy with white.
Remind me, which one are you talking about?
He's like white. He has white hair, and he's like he fought. Like he's like.
Are you talking about the best shogi player in like the league?
No. He's like that guy with the chiseled face, and like his sister like hangs around him a lot, and like that guy. Remember in like in episode 2 where we get a little bit more about him?
We got nothing about him in the first season, really.
But in episode 2 we get some understandings like why he still hangs around with him.
Again, the way the series shows off its villains villains, I put that in quotes.
Yeah.
But they're really not villains, but more flawed individuals.
Like they have reasons to be in this situation.
They're not justified, but you will understand them. Nobody is an asshole in this series for the sake of being one.
Except for the bullying kids.
Yeah, but even then, I kind of have to agree with you there. That's in the latest episode. Yeah. And we'll get to that.
We'll get to it in a bit. But yeah, like we do see, and I believe in episode 2, where it's like he has his wife and she's in the hospital and all this stuff, and he's lonely. But it's like it's still not justified why you should be with a 18-year-old girl.
Is that how old she is?
I don't know. She's really young.
She is very young.
She's a young girl, and he's in his 50s.
She's honestly a little too young. She's too young for him to be hanging around with.
Yeah, and but yet he's still like he ties her up so he knows that he doesn't want anything to happen, but he still like hugs her when he.
At the same time, she's basically throwing herself on him too.
But like he's still
like not just like throwing herself, but like to an excessive extent. To the point
but he still like accepts it to a degree.
Yeah, he's more passive about it than he should be. Yeah?
Because he's just really like I understand like he's lonely, but it's like should you be with this girl who's like probably.
Yeah, he should just give a straight up no, get out of here. You're not getting out of here. And if you don't get out of my room, I'm calling the police. Yeah. That's what he should be doing.
Like you're like probably like double her age, and like I don't get it.
Yeah, well I get it, but he's not.
Like you understand like why he does it, but it's still like it's not justified.
That's what you can expect from the quote unquote villains of this series. But
and then talking about like the most.
Can I just ask real quick? If you had to pick a favorite character, who would it be?
I think it would be Rey. Oh, Momo.
Of course you'd pick Rey.
He's just really cool.
He is cool. I like him. Rey's a great character, but I have to.
Is it Nikaido?
Well, actually, what one?
Botoro. You remember that? That was awesome.
What I really liked about Nikaido was when I learned that he is the same voice actor as Bakugo,
and it fits so well.
But it's also so crazy because they're completely different characters, but it also fits so well. It fits the character, It fits so well for both of them because they have an explosive voice.
Yeah.
So. I really like how the voice actor can put himself in these different roles and just nail it.
Yeah.
But if I was going to pick my favorite character, literally all 3 of the sisters.
They are amazing.
They are like quality characters.
They are too pure for this world.
Honestly, that's my only nitpicky complaint with the first season. I wanted to see a little bit more of them, but again, I don't.
But it makes sense because like he was in that depression. It's like you don't want to be around people.
I like that, and because like I like it and I don't like it because I like it that this series can stand on its own without their best characters. Because a lot of times you'll find series that they need to rely on some of their best characters in order to get by. This series doesn't do that. Everybody just kind of steals the show.
Yeah.
Even though at the same time, my favorite is still the sisters. So I would have liked to see them more in the first season, but I don't care.
We were seeing them more in the second season, for sure.
Yeah, we have seen some more of them in the second season so far, and I'm glad they did that. If we had to wait like 10 episodes or something to see the sisters again, I would have been disappointed. But we've seen them just enough in the second season so far, where I'm very satisfied.
Yeah.
They're like just going over each of them in general. So you got
Momo, which is the most adorable thing in the world.
We all love Momo. You can't hate Momo. I mean, if you don't like Momo, I honestly just feel like you have a heart of stone.
Yeah, I know.
Her face and her voice, she just melts your heart.
Yeah.
She's the sweetest little sister character there.
And then there's Hina.
Then you got Hina. Whenever I think about Hina, I always remember the scene from, I believe, the second episode where she's rushing to get prepared for school.
And then she makes him a giant rice ball.
I love that. She's so frantic. She literally just like runs into the room and everything just kind of gets knocked away. Mm-hmm. For Ray's lunch, she gives him a giant ball of rice and a sausage.
Yeah.
And so she's very frantic. She's also just a nice person in general.
Yeah.
And then of course you have the older sister, who's very much an older sister character, very much like a mother.
She's very much like a mom, and she's so amazing.
But she's got that quirk to her where she loves like taking in people that need help, almost to an extent.
It was the cats, but then she found Ray
to an excessive extent.
Yeah.
And then she also really likes Nikaido because of how
plump he is,
how pudgy and plumpy he is. Yeah. She reminds her of one of those cute little pudgy cats she would find, and she just wants to pinch his cheeks and everything. Yeah. I think that's really nice about her.
You can't forget that she is like a person like an escort or something like that.
She's what you she's essentially.
I know she doesn't boring.
She's a waitress. Huh?
Yeah.
She's not an escort. No.
She's not an escort, but she's like someone who like hangs out with guys. And it's like
that's something that you see a lot at nighttime bars. Because she's definitely got the looks for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, her personality does not fit the job, but, I mean, she still does it really well.
I think it fits it actually very well.
Because she treats them well.
You want to sit down with at the end of the day, when you've had a long day working, you want to sit down with somebody who's going to make you feel nice.
That is true. And
she's very beautiful. She's very welcoming. She's very much plays a great job as a host because she's great at cooking. And
I think that's what she is, a host.
She is a host because she's just really good at being hospitable and welcoming people in. So I think that she's actually perfect for that job.
The backstory of how she found Ray is kind of it's very like it shouldn't be looked over. It was like he was being taken
was
taken
Ray
over.
Drinking underage?
No, I think he might have, but like the thing is he was.
He did.
He was being used.
He did because he was throwing up. When she brought him home.
Yeah, and he was being used by the not upperclassmen, but just like the older people.
Yeah, the people who weren't necessarily as sympathetic.
He was taken advantage of. It was like, how about you buy us this, and it's like all this type of shit.
Yeah.
But it was like that kind of thing. Is like that kind of shows like what Ray's been through. Is like no one's accepted him throughout his life.
Yeah.
Until she came in.
And when people have accepted him, like his adopted father, it's only made things worse for people around him, and it makes him feel like he's a burden on people. Because I like that about him. It's not just black and white of, oh, everybody hates you and your life is terrible. No, it's like when you have all these people that want nothing to do with you, and then even when you do have the people that care about you, his worry is that he's going to be a burden to the people around him. That's his biggest motivation for not wanting to go to the sisters, because even though they are clearly really caring about him, he doesn't want to be a burden on them. And I think that's very much something that's relatable, especially in modern day society. I had my mother, she used to work for the department to end homelessness in our county, and a lot of times when people are out in the streets, they just really the worst thing about them is that they have to ask people for help because they don't want to be a burden to anybody. They don't want to go to anybody. They don't want to go to anybody close to them for help because they feel like they'll be a burden to them. They'd rather just try to beg for something for strangers, or maybe go to the local soup kitchen or homeless shelter, than to go to their next door neighbor and say, hey, I just lost my I just lost everything. Can I crash on your couch for a little bit? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to embarrass themselves.
I think it's also a sense of pride. That's what it is.
It is a sense of pride. And it's also I think it's also just very much more relevant in Japanese collectivist sociocultural sense because they're very much many people in Japan, they very much value the health of the group.
Yeah.
And as a result, they try to do what they can to avoid creating problems for the group rather than for themselves. So if Ray sees himself as being a burden on all these people around him, he's just going to take all that pain and put it on himself.
Yeah.
It's very much a cultural thing, and that's very much sort of something that he has to learn from throughout the series.
I think another thing I found interesting that could kind of symbolize like how he is in his life is like the state of his apartment.
Yeah.
Because like at the very beginning, there was nothing in there.
Completely plain.
Yeah, it is just like a shogi board and a blanket or a futon.
Because he's shut himself off from everything.
You know, like it took like 10 episodes for him to finally get blinds.
After everybody's turned him away, and after nothing he's done has worked so far, the only thing left for him to do is shut himself off in the world of shogi. And I thought that was really cool. They don't just use shogi in this series for the sake of telling people about a sport, even though it is. First of all, there aren't really.
It is a shogi.
Well, there are.
It's not very.
Can you think of another shogi series off the top of your head?
No.
So that already makes it unique, but they do so much more with it than making it a shogi series.
Yeah.
They tell this compelling story, and there's very much a good reason why it's important in Ray's life.
Yeah. What else do I want to say? I think we can move on to the second season.
Yeah, we've touched on the second season, but most of the part we've just been talking about,
the first season.
Ray's depression in the first season.
Okay, in the first season, it is really good. Second season, it has become really amazing. Studio Shaft boosted the quality up a lot.
Yeah.
Like in the first episode with season 2, we see that the number 1 player, like he's godlike in shogi. Like no one can touch him.
They had hints of that in the first season, but now they very much
because there was that one scene everyone freaked out about where it was one move and everyone thought it was super simple and something like risky, but it was actually the game changer.
Yeah, it was like it turned out like he predicted the end of the game like 27 moves in advance or something like that. I find that really cool.
Because how they said it is because if you're looking at it, you will understand, but when you're playing the game, the players figured it out. It's like, oh, I'm screwed.
Do you know? Can I just say, the main shogi, the best shogi player in the out there, he looks very similar to Ray, but with white hair.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's supposed to be some sort of foreshadow.
I always thought about that in the first season.
There's some sort of connection between the two of them. Some sort of connection.
You know what I want to talk about in the first season that I forgot to talk about is his teacher. Is amazing. He's the best dude ever because it's very rare and it's very needed to have a teacher like that because he goes that extra mile. He learns about Ray's past and he tries to help him out.
Some people might be.
Where it's like it's those types of teachers that are needed in this world. Those are the ones who create the path for the future. And I don't know because like everyone needs that and like it was really good that Ray found a teacher that really did care about his life and put that extra mile. He tried his hardest. It was like, if I do this, maybe you'll have enough to graduate and all this types of stuff. And
I really enjoyed that too because really, it doesn't. In my experience throughout high school and so far through college, it doesn't really matter what tech class you take. What really matters is the teacher. Yeah. When I was taking high school calculus, I'm sure we're all very much aware of how horrible calculus can be and how hard it is. But I ended up doing really well in that class simply because I had the best teacher ever. She was, without a doubt, the best teacher I've ever had so far. And like her name was Miss Mirabello, and she managed to make learning calculus interesting. Yeah, that speaks volumes to the abilities of what a teacher can do. And then she motivated us to come to the days of practice AP exams by saying, "I'll give you guys donuts if you come there." And if there's one thing that can get a high schooler out of bed in the morning, it's free food. Or just how enthusiastic she was, and also I remember also on days where we had nothing to do, she'd even make pancakes for us in class.
Awesome.
She was the best, and she reminds me a lot of this this guy.
So the teacher that reminds me of that is like she was like a really recent teacher too. Like she was in my senior year and was like during my second semester, like she was like brand new basically, but she was amazing and she was part of my culinary class teacher because I was just there because I loved cooking, and she was the best because you know whenever I hanged out after class to just do things and do projects, like I was just like, she was like, oh, there's an event for something that I have to do, is like anyone wants to join in. It's like obviously I wanted to do it, to put in some work. And like she's like really awesome, she's really funny, and like she's really real with us. Like there was like some like of course it's a culinary class, so everyone like there's like a shit ton of people who are just there for food.
Yeah. And
like they were just dicking around, and like at the end of the class everyone's just like, I don't know how he's gonna survive in life. Like everyone's just like, how is he gonna survive in life? Like he's so shitty. But she was the best. Chef PG, I love you. You're out there. She was awesome, and like I learned a shit ton about cooking when she was there.
That's really kind of that. Like at the end of the day, if they can't, even no matter how awesome they are, if they can't teach you, they're not doing their job.
Yeah. Like I am now legitimately, I am Surf Safe certified. So I know I know the precautions of like managing like safety and germs in like restaurant.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I passed. I couldn't print it out. I forgot to.
I mean, my cooking skills are almost non-existent. Yeah. I'm afraid to use a microwave sometimes when I use it in my dorm, because I'll put in my instant ramen and then I'll be like, oh gosh, is there any metal in there? Is the microwave about to explode? And then I'll hide behind the wall.
Yeah.
But completely irrelevant. I really do think that's cooking is a very, you know what, we'll just talk about cooking later because that's not very relevant.
We're gonna talk about Food Wars in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We'll save that for Food Wars.
Can I just say one more thing about the teacher?
Yeah, sure, for sure.
I just looked up the teacher's name on Now, and his name is Takashi.
Yeah, that's right.
Hayashida. I was just about to say, if his name was Takahashi, he just reminded me of Takahashi Sensei from Demi-chan. But no, his name is Takashi. Takashi Sensei or Hayashida Sensei.
Yeah.
Best teacher.
He's awesome. He's those teachers that you need.
That's what we're saying. Every character in this show, they just steal the show, huh?
So in the first episode in the second season, getting back to the second season, we see at the end him learning how to rate Mamune, and that was such a like really nice scene to show that like Ray's made friends. He has friends now.
He does have friends now. He's in a very different position than he was at the beginning, and also he does the perfect job of setting the tone again for the series.
They also, another thing I really liked is like when Ray was talking about shogi, and then you know one of the scientists in the club was like, do you have fun when you play shogi? And he's like, fun? And
he genuinely doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And
he's
like
shoved himself off so much and buried himself in shogi so much that
like he forgot how to have fun.
That is very relatable too, because like if you're playing a game,
because that's the thing, there's always that motto is like, if you do what you love, you'll never work in a day of your life. That's bullshit, because like there's days where it's like you gotta do this and you gotta do that.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of like, I've heard some people will say, well, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But the other way of looking at that is you should try to keep work and your hobby separate, because even sure, you might end up loving what you do to work, but you also might end up hating your hobby, if it turns out that what you're doing is really grueling.
In the overall aspect, right?
Yeah.
In the overall aspect, you'll never regret it. In the overall aspect, you'll never regret it. But there are gonna be days where like you'll be like, oh, I'm so depressed, or like I'm so tired. But like like if you're doing a job, that's gonna be every day. Like I'm so depressed, I'm so tired. You know, it's like, so like still. And then there's also the thing that Ray says, like the more skilled you are, the worse defeat feels. And that was an amazing thing, because it really emphasized on how the Kuma dude felt when he lost. He fucking kicked a hole through the wall.
I think that's very, very real because just from my own personal experience, my brother, he entered college as a music major, and he is really good at playing the violin. He's an amazing musician, but he's incredibly hard on himself. He's
your worst critic.
He's kind of got he's a bit autistic, so he's always been a lot harder on himself, and he's very much has high functioning autism to the point where he will really focus on something, and he will only focus on that one thing. And when you're putting yourself in the shoes of a musician, that can be very frustrating. And also, you mentioned like that player that the best player in the world was playing against, how he punched a hole in the wall. My brother actually did that once when he was practicing music. He was so frustrated, he threw his bow through the wall of our house. That's so. I was like, yep. The further you get up there, the more frustrating defeat is going to be.
Yeah, it's that mentality. It was like you think that you're the number one player, and then you see this that you lose, and then it breaks everything down. It's like
you just have to have this perfectionist attitude if you're going to be a professional, because like you can only get closer to the top if you're aiming for the top. Those that are only aiming for like, oh, I just want to break even. I just want to make the team. No, you should be trying. If you're really going to be the professional, you gotta try to go for it all. And that's what you see in these people like Ray or these professional shogi players.
Yeah.
They have this perfectionist mindset where the slightest setback is going to hit them like a truck.
Yeah. Okay, so that's like the first episode, and then the second episode. What was the second episode about? I don't even remember.
This show just envelops you so much that they just blend together. It all just kind of blends together.
Yeah. Like let's talk about the third and fourth episode, the most powerful episodes.
So far, yes, the most powerful. Very, very emotional.
With the bullying, I mean, obviously we said it before. Almost everyone's have experienced some sort of bullying in any form and shape. I'm just trying to look this up. Okay. Okay. Now I know what the second episode is just like explaining like what happened. Okay, fine. But with the fourth episode, it was so like another thing I have to say, like a lot of dialogue within Watch Comes Into the Line. It's a lot of like internal thought. It's always like internal thoughts. You don't see a lot of like actual talking. That's how it was in the first season. That's how it is in the second season still. With the fourth episode, it was really like what Hina did was like 100% justified, and 100% like she did what she wanted. She did everything right. Like
Hina did nothing wrong.
No, she didn't.
And I don't mean that in an ironic way.
She did nothing wrong. And the fact is, she got bullied because she cared about someone, and it was like that's not the message. It should be. It's like, you know, it's like you wanted to help out a friend you had in elementary school, and now she had to move away to a different school, to a different part of Japan, to hope that she's not bullied anymore. And like for what Hina is like, she knows what she like, you know, her friend's been through, and she knows like that the bullies don't understand, and like I justify why she fought her, and hopefully like they understand that a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure they don't, and now they pick on Hina. But a big thing that I definitely didn't like, and like I don't know why it triggered me so much, was when she was asking for help. You know, it's like helping with classmates. She was like, oh, you don't want to get involved, you don't want to be another target. But then when she goes to a teacher, the teacher's like, oh, it's nothing big. It's, you know, it's like, it's nothing big, it's just prank. It's not a fucking prank.
Yeah,
she was going home with no shoes. It was like, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm taking a break for a second. Like, I needed something. Like, that's not what a teacher should do. Like,
well, I mean, first of all, I want to say this is probably the only point in the series where you find these villains, quote unquote, that are very hard to justify. Part of that is just because bullying is just really cruel.
Yeah.
Kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
That's the reality. But in Japan specifically, they have a really bad bullying problem.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like they showed clips. It was like in the end, it was like, oh, bullying, suicide, and all this and all that.
It's bullying is still is still very much a problem in America, but it's been getting a lot better recently, where schools are becoming a lot less tolerant of bullying, and really the best thing is to approach an adult. But sometimes, and we see this, I guess, more in Japanese societies, they don't necessarily
understand.
They don't necessarily approach it in the best way, and so it really, when the teacher won't do anything about it, there's not much you can do about it, and that's what I mean.
But what else could she have done? Like, she can't. If she told her big sister, and then they talked to the parents, it's like, well, now she's even a bigger thing. It's like, oh, you ratted on me, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm really wondering what Ray's gonna do, huh?
Yeah, because like there's that moment where he's like, I want to kill him. Like he's like, I want to kill him, and everyone's also thinking, I want to kill him.
Yeah.
Because they made Momo cry. They made Momo cry, and I was like, oh god, I can't see this.
You made Hina cry, and in turn, you made Momo cry.
I know.
You got it. You've crossed the red line.
I know.
You can't do this anymore.
Seeing Momo cry was obvious, like intensely sad.
You can't. Momo just melts your heart. So when she cries, it makes you want to jump out a window. I swear.
It was like, oh my god. But I mean, hopefully Ray figures out something to do. Maybe he talks to the teacher about it. Like that's what I've said.
He's gonna do something because he's playing a more active role this season.
Yes, 100%.
Rather than just clawing.
There is that scene I do really like where when he runs after Hina, when it's nighttime, when she comes back from school. You know, he does the thing was like, you saved me from, you know, my depression. I'm going to save you, and that is so good. Like that was like, oh my god, that's really nice.
Yeah, I also just wanted to talk just really briefly about one of my favorite scenes from the show.
Yeah, what is it?
That was probably during the first season. I believe it might have been episode 10. And Ray was facing off against this player, and there is a running sequence there, so that's why the dots kind of connected in my head.
Okay.
So he faces off against this player, and his asshole of an adopted sister told him, "Oh yeah, the guy you're facing off against today, he's really close to losing it, and he's got his daughter, and it's around Christmas time. So if he loses, he's gonna go out drinking. He's not gonna spend Christmas."
Is that the old guy? Is it the old guy you're talking about?
No, not the old guy. It's the second guy. He's a father of a daughter, and he's like divorced. And so essentially, if he beats this guy, he's not going to have that little girl is not going to have a good Christmas. Her dad's just going to go out drinking, and it's going to ruin everything. So, and it even gets worse when he enters the shogi match and he's carrying his daughter's present.
Yeah.
So when Ray beats him, because he has to beat him.
Yeah,
if he doesn't, he can't sustain himself anymore.
Yeah.
And then he has to go back to that hellhole and live with his dad.
Yeah.
And make people's lives worse. So when he beats him, his opponent is like, he's so upset that he leaves without taking the present. So Ray, the nice guy that he is, he goes after him to give him the present back. And then the guy, he just gets really angry at him. Because he was kind of... I mean, I understand that he's angry that a kid much younger than him beat him, but at the same time, he was being a sore loser.
Yeah.
Because Ray, he didn't want to do this. He didn't want to have to ruin his day, but
it's my job, dude. Like
exactly, and all this frustration builds up to the point where Ray just explodes. He runs away and he just screams out at the river, and that was definitely my favorite because I thought that was a very powerful and emotional sequence.
With the first season, they put a lot of connections with like the ocean or like water. Because like that's kind of like what depression kind of feels like. You're sinking at the bottom of the ocean, and like
it's not a new comparison, but it's something that has to be made.
They did it really well, That's the thing is like they like Much Comes Like a Lion knows how to do the symbolization really well. And then with the scene with the sister, you said it reminded me of the scene where she saw the three sisters family for the first time, and then she says to Ray, "Is that the family you're ruining now?" And the moment I heard that, I was like, "I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I don't like you anymore."
She needs to get better. She needs help, I swear.
Yeah.
Because even though does some really horrible things, you also know she's just a broken person.
Yeah.
So it's more like I hate you and more like you need help.
Yeah.
You are ruining this guy's life. And do you even realize that?
I know, it's like you had a good life, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you're so
even if
if
your dad might not love you as much anymore, you still have a good life.
I know. Like, he gave you a credit card that he paid for, yeah.
Do you know what this kid went through?
I know.
Losing his mom, his dad,
and his
little sister.
I'm like,
come on, have a heart.
I know.
That's why
and then she says, "Oh, this is the new family you're ruining."
But that's the thing. With all these people and the villains in the series, they don't need to go away. They need help.
Yeah.
That's really what I like about this series. Everybody is really fleshed out.
Mm-hmm. And then we haven't talked about Nikaido a lot, except about his voice acting.
There's two people I think we should mention: Nikaido and Shimada.
Oh yeah, Shimada. Yeah.
So Nikaido first, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bro.
He needs it.
He's a bro.
Ray needs Nikaido.
He does. Huh?
Like, if it wasn't for Nikaido, I think he was the push that caused it all.
Nikaido was a huge push because that's exactly what he is. He's a very explosive person, which I think is really cool because already his character design is unique in that he you wouldn't expect him to be a very explosive person.
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't get out too much. He's sick though. He's also sick.
Yeah.
He's like is he anemic or something like that?
I don't know, but
it's something to do with like his blood where he where he just can't get out that much.
Yeah.
So, and also just but I just love his personality because he's not what you would expect him to be as somebody who has to be shut in, and he's just he makes himself known in any scene that he's in, and part of that is really just because of the voice actor that voices him. You cannot. He's a character that you cannot ignore.
Yeah.
Which makes him as a perfect push for Ray, especially in the first season where he needs that push.
Yeah, I can see that.
He actively. We talked earlier about how his apartment was completely empty, which shows that void.
And then he gave Ray the nice bed.
He physically filled that void with a giant bed.
Yeah.
So he's both metaphorically and literally filling that void in his life.
Yeah. But then, like, whenever his sister comes back, it kind of like she drills back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when she came back and she rested at Ray's apartment, she ate all the food that the sisters gave him.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious?
I almost wondered why Ray actually even let her in.
I know. But it was because she was waiting there. It was like, you're gonna keep me out when I waited here for 30 minutes, my feet are cold.
Exactly, because that's the kind of person Ray is. He doesn't want to be a burden on him, and Ray left home because he was a burden on her and just about everybody. So she was appealing to that offer that he can't refuse of, great, now you're just gonna make me feel like more of a burden. Alright, I guess I'll let you in.
Yeah.
Because we're family,
But yeah, I mean...
Because as much as he hates to admit it, they are still family,
Yeah. So with, at the end of the 4th episode of season 2, the scene with the grandpa, it is the scene that actually got me to tear up. Because it was that scene where Hina finally knew that obviously she did nothing wrong. And she knows that she did nothing wrong even from the beginning.
Yeah.
But the confirmation from his grandpa, and you can see that his grandpa cried.
He's a wise guy,
Like, you see, like, when he was talking that he cried before because you can see all the lines. Like, it was, like, ready with eyes.
That's gotta be where they get it from. There's very much that familial connection between them. He reminds me actually a lot of Hina the most because of how, like, outgoing and because of how outgoing he is. He's not necessarily as nice as the older sister is, and Momo's just Momo. So, but he reminds me the most of Hina with the headstrong attitude that he has, but also with how generous he is too. So he reminds me a lot of Hina. So it makes a lot of sense that he would be the one to help out Hina in that situation
Yeah.
with the role that he just plays in that family.
Yeah. I don't know. I just really love the series. I mean, it has amazing background music, amazing opening and ending. It's just like, I don't know. It's
It's a
like
series you gotta watch, but it's a series that almost nobody's seen.
No one watches it. I was like, I don't get it. It's like,
Why?
It's
Why?
so good. It's so good.
It's just
and
one
like
of those,
no one watches it.
It's one of those series where
It's like so underrated. It was like
it's like some people might be like, it's not underrated. It's a really good show. When we mean underrated, we mean
no, like it doesn't have the popularity.
This needs to be plastered on billboards.
Yeah.
It needs to be shown to the world.
Like there's a big grouping behind it, but it's not as big as it should be.
It's like more of a cult following than an actual big fan base.
Yeah.
Which I don't want it to be that way. It deserves the praise that it needs.
Yeah.
There's still one more person we need to really talk about, and that's Shimada.
Shimada, that is. He is awesome.
Shimada is the heart of the shogi world in this series, because you have the entire second half of the first season is basically delving more into the shogi side of the series.
Yeah, it was.
And showing
Shimada like showing like the burdens and like the stress it could be just being at the A-class level of being a shogi player.
Yeah, this is really. I mean, like I was talking earlier about how this series needs to be able to stand on its own legs without relying on its best characters, which I think are the sisters. And Shimada does a really good job of making that push because he's this. I think he's like 30-something years old.
And he's like balding already.
He's already really dried up and too old for this shit. He's got all this baggage coming along with him, and it shows the stress of professional shogi really well. With all the little quirks too, because that's another thing. He had a lot of problems with his stomach.
Yeah.
And that's also another attention to detail that I thought made it really real. Same thing with my brother, who had a lot of trouble with the world of music. He also has a lot of problems with his stomach. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the exact same thing.
I think it's just like being nervous. Like when I get really nervous, I have the feeling of I need to pee, even though I peed 2 minutes ago.
But this is like chronic stomach pain, which is a definite sign of chronic stress. And being under pressure. That's very real, and that's a great attention to detail.
I think that's everything.
That really is. We were kind of just gushing over this series for a while.
I know.
We've
been going on for 47 minutes.
If nothing of what we said has convinced any of you yet to check this series out, then I don't know what else I can do.
What else is.
Just if nothing has convinced you, just look at like a trailer or something on YouTube.
It is really, really good.
This is something you are doing, even if you don't care about slice of life or drama, and you might be, because I'm a big action.
I love slice of life.
Well, I like a good slice of life, but my taste is like long-running shonen and big action series.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this series, I don't care. I love it.
It hits every aspect super well.
You don't have to like slice of life to like this series. You don't, even if you don't care about slice of life, which normally I don't. You are doing yourself a disservice by not at least checking it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a big slice of life person. I really enjoy it because it gives me that kind of sense of fresh air.
Yeah.
And a breather, and it's like this is like the freshness in the move.
Yeah, and again, I'm not completely opposed to slice of life. It's just like, everybody's got their preferences.
Yeah.
And if I find a good series, no matter what genre, I'm probably going to like it if it does it well.
Yeah. But I think that's all we have to say about the series. I mean, it's been.
I'm sure you all have lives to get on to.
Yeah, but this.
We could talk about this series.
You need to watch it. Is really, really good.
It's one of those series that you could literally talk about for hours with people once you've checked it out. And
there's so much more we could say, but
I'm sure we've missed a ton of stuff.
We do want to wrap it up because I haven't seen this first season in a long time. It's been like a year or two.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it up. We're hitting almost like the 50-minute mark, and but I think that's everything. And if there's another series or a sequel you want us to review or talk about, let us know. I mean, this is like really fun. I'm enjoying myself so much.
Discussion of anime is part of the fun.
Yeah.